Okay, so I thought it would be helpful if I did kind of a cribs version of my own Pinterest account. Um, I know that there's always a lot of questions about like how do I organize my boards? How do I know what to pin? What do I keep secret? Or like not secret, but like what kind of boards do I make secret? Uh, and although there's like articles and blog posts and stuff written about those kinds of questions, I thought it would be helpful to actually see what a Pinterest account looks like in action, if you will. My Pinterest account is really, really old. I've been on Pinterest probably for 4 or 5 years, but as you probably already know from reading everything before this video, I actually only started really taking my Pinterest account seriously in January of this year. I really wish that I had taken screenshots or more screenshots of my Pinterest account prior to January because it looks totally different than it used to. My Pinterest was a bit of a mess prior to 2016. So, here's what my Pinterest account looks like. I have my name, obviously. I have my blog name. There's no reason for me to put it in caps. I just like the aesthetic of it. I like this separator guy. There's actually, if you haven't seen it already, there's a workbook in a module on this course that kind of takes you through the brainstorming process of coming up with something like this. I know it doesn't seem that hard, but sometimes it can be kind of annoying to try and make something aesthetically pleasing when you're so limited with what you can put in there. You can really only put letters, numbers, and symbols, I guess you could call them. Anyways, that was total side conversation from what I'm actually trying to do. Anyways, so here's my location. I just like the location. I think it looks nice. Blog name, obviously. My Twitter account is on there too. If you haven't checked your settings for these two things recently, definitely do so. My Twitter was linked to the wrong Twitter account for like, I don't even know how long, probably a couple of months at least. So that now links to my actual Twitter account, which is super helpful. So, oh, and here's my description too. There's another total module just by itself on how to write an effective description. But this is mine right now. It's just my one little thing that I do, and then my call to action, which is actually this course. So starting off here, this is my blog board. It was really important to me to make my first board my blog just because it is a really good location for people to get an instant idea of what kind of content they're going to expect from my Pinterest account and my blog. And this is actually the only board I have that doesn't have a keyword description. It's just got my blog slogan and then a little description about it. I loop this board with Board Booster, and I'll go further into Board Booster in a future module as well. So then I have all of my business boards, so blogging and business, blogging, marketing and branding, social media, email list building, entrepreneurship, and vlogging. These are my most popular topics when people come to my blog to read my content. So it's important to put your most popular topic at the top of your Pinterest, obviously, because that's what people are going to be looking for first when they come to your profile. Next, I have my fun ones. I mean, they don't really have anything to do with my blog, but they're more of the creative side of what I like to do. I'm not a crafter. I'm really bad at doing DIYs, but I like to look at pictures and I love to pin projects that I'll never do in the future. So I put those next just because I think they're kind of cool and fun. Paper and stationery, illustration, quotes and typography, all of the things that are on the creative side and are within the blogging and business realm, just not specifically what I do. And then past that, I have my style, hair, makeup, tattoo, fitness boards. Again, I mean, I'm really specific with what types of content I pin to these boards. Like, if you go into either of them, you know, you're not going to get those foot-long pins that have 1,000 different instructions and text and all that kind of stuff. I try and keep it really simple. I just want a picture, I want a short description, and I want the picture to be taller than it is wide, just because, again, from my aesthetic perspective, I like the look of that rather than a bunch of teeny tiny little horizontal pictures. And that's the same for my style board as well. You can kind of see that there is, it kind of goes with my brand, if that makes sense. Like, obviously these are all things that I like, but I don't have anything too crazy on here that isn't in line with the image that I'm trying to present on my blog. So past those, my personal growth board. This is actually something that I'm going to be expanding in the future, just because personal growth is kind of a content cornerstone of my blog. This is something that I kind of just started on a whim a couple months ago, and it's really become something really important to me, and I love the topic. So there's going to be some growth there later. I may move this up to the top with my blogging and biz boards. We'll see what the future holds. And then going further, there's entertaining, gift ideas, home interiors, bedrooms, palm trees, tips and tricks. All of these things I consider the same as my style boards. Everything that I pin there is not really infographic-y, if that makes sense. It's just a nice photo that has the same color style as everything else that I pin. And then I have my favorite dudes, my favorite ladies, my cute little board full of bulldogs and dogs and all the things that I want a million times over. And then I have my recipes, my vegan recipes, baking, smoothies. These I started pinning because when I first was blogging 3 or 4 years ago, I was kind of more into the general lifestyle brand. And I thought that I was going to be really awesome and have a bunch of cool recipes and crap like that. I don't cook. I barely managed to feed myself, so that was no longer part of my actual blog. But again, it's one of those things where the pictures and the idea behind the boards are in line with my brand. It's part of the lifestyle that I want to present, and it's things that I like. Maybe one day I'll make one of those. I don't know. Crazier things have happened. And then this is pretty standard, but I'm going to go through everything anyways, just because I would like it if somebody else did this for their Pinterest account. I have all my holidays. So New Year's, Valentine's Day, spring, summer, fall, Halloween, Christmas. It's really good to have holiday content on your Pinterest account, even if it's not part of what you do, just because they are obviously going to get a lot of repins throughout the year. I kind of cover the whole year in various holidays, which means that I always have some kind of holiday content that is appropriate for the season available to people who happen to come across my Pinterest account. And then this is now that we're getting down to like the lower part of my boards, it's kind of all of the random shit that I don't really need to have on there, but I like to look at. If I was a stronger person, I would probably make these boards secret, just because I'm pretty sure that none of the people who actually read my blog are interested in any of these things. But they're important to me, and that's why I keep them out there. And I'm really specific with what I pin to these types of boards. I don't pin anything dime a dozen-y, if that makes sense. I stick to nice looking photos. And that kind of thing. So there's gaming, alchemy, magical, crowns, adventuring, West Coast road trip, Brittany, Dick House, which is Jackass, drag, Hannibal, and that's it. So these are the boards that I live and die by, because I'm not taking them down. I don't care if they don't go with my brand. Ashley likes them, and that's why they're there. And then the very last things I have are my group boards. And I keep these at the bottom just because they're easy for me to find, rather than having them all spread out through everything. And there will be more information on group boards later on in this course as well. So this is the secret portion of my account, where my secret boards are. Some of these things used to be their own boards, like just a normal board, and I recently made them secret because it finally got to the point where I couldn't justify having this stuff on my account where people could actually see it. So things like LOL was all like funny things, like you can see. I don't actually use any of these boards anymore, but I'm just too stubborn to delete them. And also, this stuff is still funny to me even if nobody else laughs at it. Then I have Canadiana, Stay 18 Forever, all this kind of stuff that, nobody's interested in other than me. And then I also have my Voxbox boards, which I make private after a couple of months, just because I don't really like the idea of sponsored boards. I like putting them together, but I don't want them to be a main like a concentration of my Pinterest boards. And then my last boards here are just some collaborative ones that I have. My best friend board, which I share with obviously my best friend, and we put stupid stuff on there all the time. Ideas that are not aesthetically pleasing that I want to do for my house. So this is what I mean when I say I have a aesthetically pleasing board and then a board just full of random crap. So they're both based on my home. There's home stuff and home and interiors. Home and interiors is all in line with my brand. They're nice photos. They're all taller than they are wide. And they're just, it works for what I do. My home stuff board, which is private, is just ideas that I want to implement in my house that don't necessarily look aesthetically pleasing in pin form. So stuff like this, like why, I don't want to look at that picture, but I want it for my own reference because I kind of want to do that to my own cupboard, like, if that makes sense. So that's actually a really good example of that. And yeah, then some blogging ideas and stuff down here. So that's everything. Like, when you're organizing your Pinterest account and when you're putting your boards together, everything you do should have a reason. Try to stay away from just randomly throwing shit together and hoping that it will work. Really sit down and kind of think to yourself, how should I organize this in a way that makes sense to my readers? Because, like this is a great example. My most popular content topics are at the top, and the stuff that people care about least, or few people care about, is at the bottom. And I did that purposely. It wasn't an accident that it turned out this way. And it's just really important to kind of take a minute and think about how you're going to be presenting yourself, just like any other social media network. So, I hope that was helpful. If you want to see anything specifically, definitely let me know, and I'll make a follow-up video available. And yeah, see you in the next part.